After the recent disappointing news about Robert Pattinson's The Batman, Andy Muschietti brings a sad update for Batman, the Brave and the Bold. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Fans have been patiently waiting for the next installment of Robert Pattinson's Batman for quite some time now. However, that patience seems to be getting thinner and thinner as the franchise keeps postponing the project time and time again. Recently, another sad update was given about a different Batman project that does not leave fans with much hope in the franchise. At the same time, something good could come out of it if DC got creative. When Batman, the Brave and the Bold was first announced, fans could not be more excited about a project focusing on the Dark Knight's relationship with his son and Robin, Damian Wayne. However, this seems to have become yet another project on DC's release list that fans will see after years. Recently, the director of The Flash, Andy Muschietti, who is also working on this film, gave an interview on the California Secreta podcast where he was asked if he could give any updates about the project. Fans naturally have a lot of expectations and wish for the film to meet them all. I'm now writing a science fiction movie that I would like to do. Batman is a project that's been postponed a bit, so there could be another film before it, possibly that one. However, instead of hyping his upcoming film up, Muschietti gave some very disappointing news to the fans. He stated that he had a different project that he wanted to work on right now, and because of this, the film would be delayed for some time. It is safe to say that fans were not expecting yet another disappointing update from the DCU so soon. After it was recently announced that Robert Pattinson's film is being postponed all the way to 2027, having yet another Batman project be delayed to pursue other professional opportunities is bound to make fans upset. Amid this, one cannot help but wonder what will happen to Batman's character in the new DCU, with the Superman film coming out next year. Since James Gunn is planning on introducing a completely different Batman for the DCU, keeping Pattinson's universe separate, it would take more than 2 years for the franchise to make a Caped Crusader who is canon to their universe. Considering the fact that the two characters lay the foundations of the franchise in every instance, not having one for at least 2 years would be very damaging, not only to DC's profits, but also to its reputation. The franchise is very unlikely to have 2 Batman projects released around the same time. With this in mind, it would only make sense that they include Pattinson's Batman in the main story, something that would not be a very big leap for the story. James Gunn's hopeful Superman with David Corenswet is the perfectly contrasting yet fitting world for Robert Pattinson's Batman to cross over. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. James Gunn has the perfect opportunity to introduce Batman to the DCU. Matt Reeves' much anticipated The Batman Part 2 has reportedly been delayed by another year and will be released in 2027. As the DCU gears up for its big screen debut, with Superman releasing next year, a crossover with Robert Pattinson's Batman may do the DCU a lot of good. Reeves has maintained that his Batman's epic crime saga is an Elseworld project that is separate from the DCU. Some are of the opinion that Reeves' grounded and gritty Gotham is too different to believably cross over to Gunn's Superman, which seems to be going more into the comic book fantasy realm. However, that might be the perfect reason for them to cross over. The DCU has its Superman in David Corenswet, but it is yet to recruit its Caped Crusader. James Gunn announced the DCU slate back in 2023 with a proper plan. He mentioned that the first chapter of the DCU would focus on gods and monsters, with films on Superman, Clayface, the Brave and the Bold, the Authority, and Supergirl being announced. The DCU began officially this year with the Max series Creature Commandos. Earlier this month, Gunn also released the first teaser trailer for Superman, with Corenswet leading. Focusing on a younger Superman, the trailer showed a glimpse at the DCU world, which already has multiple superheroes and cosmic kaiju ready to attack Metropolis. There has never been a more obvious contrast to Matt Reeves' The Batman and its slate of films and shows, which recently expanded with The Penguin. While a crossover between these two entities in a world's finest adaptation might be far from reality, fans believe that the contrasting imagery might just be perfect for the DCU. Robert Pattinson's Batman is also a younger hero who has just begun his vigilante activities. Despite the raw and gritty Gotham might not fit into the cosmically ballistic world of Gunn's Metropolis. However, this contrast itself may just be the perfect metaphor for a crossover. One film that was announced as part of the first chapter of the DCU was a Batman film titled The Brave and the Bold, which would explore the Caped Crusader's relationship with Damian Wayne and the Bat family. Andy Muschietti is set to direct the film, although it is still reportedly in development and does not have a strict timeline. With Matt Reeves' The Batman, Part 2 now delayed to 2027, it is doubtful that WB and DC Studios would want two competing Batman titles released close to each other. Gunn definitely would want the DCU's Batman to be considered as seriously as Reeves, despite the seniority, but it would be confusing for the audience if the timelines were too close. A crossover between Robert Pattinson's current Elseworld Batman with David Corenswet's DCU Superman might just be the best idea, and it is not just the fans who think so. James Gunn said in the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast that he had contemplated Pattinson's role in the DCU. He said, "I've contemplated it, yeah. I contemplate everything. I talk about everything. I'd be an idiot not to think of how can this go, or how can this go, but I'm committed to both telling stories in the DCU and telling Elseworld stories." He mentioned that it was ultimately Matt Reeves' choice to keep his Batman separate from the DCU. It might be a good choice too, as Reeves' increasingly street-level world is a welcome change from all the multiversal shenanigans in the superhero genre. But if Pattinson remains outside the DCU, it might take longer for Batman to enter Gunn's universe. Jason Momoa becomes the first DCU actor to enter the DCU as a completely new character in the form of Lobo. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Jason Momoa might have had a lukewarm run as the King of Atlantis Arthur Curry/Aquaman, but he is back to SA, a DC character that seems to fit him a little bit more snugly. Momoa will be entering the DCU, essaying the role of the main man himself, Lobo. As reported by comicbook.com, the Sea Alum will be a part of Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow's cast, which is going to star Millie Alcock as the titular Kryptonian cousin of Superman. By being cast as Lobo, Jason Momoa has set a precedent for the DCU and DCU. While there are actors from the DCU that have made their way into the DCU, like Viola Davis's Amanda Waller and John Cena's Peacemaker, there is no actor from the DCU who has been recast in a new role in the DCU. There were a lot of people who were sure that this would be the case for the entire main cast of the DC Extended Universe, but Gunn himself squashed those rumors. By allowing Jason Momoa to enter the DCU as Lobo, James Gunn might have blown the casting choices for the DCU wide open. Fans are now openly speculating which of the original DCU cast could find another role in James Gunn's DCU. However, Momoa seems